right, folks. So we're going to continue. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with introducing individual scenes for each of the planets. So I prepared one here. So what you saw, I used the menu here, the panel up on the top, to switch between the main scene, which is this one, to a scene called Mercury that I just had made before. And if I press viewer here now, what you get is this individual scene with the planet, and actually you have some control. You can move the planet around, you can scale it up and down to get a better look at it, and then you can also, by doing this like a twist to finger movement, you can rotate it. So, and the other stuff that you have, as you can see, well, I used the information panels here and also added some interaction. So this is here by default, but when you press it, as I'm hoping, the kind of like icon at the very top indicates you get some more information, and also this is kind of animated, so it comes from behind the other panel. And then it also has this solar system icon over here, so when you tap that, you go back to this scene. And yep, I've also actually done Venus, so let's just use the viewer. Again, the same functionality, same content. You get some additional information about Venus. And also there's another additional thing in this one where these panels face the camera regardless of where I am in position to them. So that's a nice feature that Torch provides. So what I want to do now is to continue this work and do another one. So fittingly, it's the Earth. So what we want to do now is we want to add a scene through scene options, and let's call this Earth. Like so. Here we are on the Earth scene. We want to start bringing assets in. So it's the Earth solo asset that we want to bring in first. Planet itself. There we go. And again, we want to position it to the 0, 1, 0 position. It's quite big, as we can see, so let's scale it down, maybe to that kind of a level. Now, this is not super important in the sense that in a second we're actually going to give the user some controls, and that happens through user controls here. And so we're going to enable both position, rotation, and scale. And let's just see what that enables the user to do. So now that we are here in the scene, by enabling those user controls, then the user can both move around the planet and can pinch it to make it bigger or smaller, and also do this like a rotating movement with 2 fingers to rotate it. So it's just a way to make this individual planet scene a bit more engaging, and so on and so forth. The other aspect is bringing in some more data about the planet, and for that we have these assets over here. So Earth PNG, the scene, and Earth details. So manipulating these things, we can just eyeball them into place by taking control of these handles. The white is always the active one, so you want to grab them to bring, for instance, this one closer. So what I like to do here is that actually deliberately keep it behind the planet, so that people are encouraged to move around to see it, because that's kind of like the whole point of augmented reality. So maybe somewhere around there. I also want to tap face camera down here. So face camera and y-axis. So that means that whenever I move around, the panel will be facing the camera. And I want to do the same for the other panel as well. But for now, actually, I'm going to move that one behind this guy. And then toggle visibility and make it actually invisible in the scene. And then we're going to bring it up by interacting with the first panel. So one design principle with AR that works well is that you don't want to clutter the scene with too much information, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. While trying to avoid that. So I'm going to select this panel. I'm going to add an interaction. And so what you see here is quite a few options. So you can trigger things in different ways. So selecting it, just tapping on the object, but you can also do things with gazing, so that if you can trigger things when objects come to the center of the viewfinder, or gaze away is when you look away from them, or then you can trigger things by entering their proximity. And so that brings up this perimeter, this blue one here, which you can then adjust by like this. So whether things then start happening closer to the object or more farther away. But I'll just keep things simple for now and just introduce a select type of interaction. But now what we want to do is that interaction will actually affect the other panel, which is, because it's invisible in the scene, it's gray. But what we want to do is select that, so it comes up here under set trigger responses, and I'll press that to access that. And now we can toggle it visible under this interaction, and then we can also do a little bit of animation by moving it next to the other panel. So we want to use move to rather than move by. So we won't want to increment that movement. We want to do it only once to a specific position in the scene. And I want it to be more or less next to the other panel. Like so, more or less. A little bit closer. And there we go. That's kind of good enough for now. And yeah, so we accept that. Let's just see how things work quickly by going to the viewer mode. So there we are. We tap to this guy. Yes, it comes nicely from the background. One more thing that we want to do with that asset is it's our way back to the main scene. So I'll select it through now to this route. And then we'll add an interaction to it, because the asset itself has this solar system icon. So now once it's selected, we choose action response here, and that enables us to do a scene change. So now you see the different scenes in the project, and we want this to go to the main scene. So we select that, and let's see if that works. So now, yeah, we are over here. We tap on the Earth panel, we bring this up, and then we tap there, and yes, it takes us back to the original scene. And now obviously at this point, the user doesn't really have access to that scene. So what I want to do is use scene options. No, I want to use scene options to get just the handle of our friend Earth here, and then add an interaction to Earth, a select, and actually it seems that I've done that already. So there's a select action response and that scene change, and that takes you to the Earth scene that we've just created. So that's how you enable the user to transition from this main scene to the other scenes. So tapping Earth there takes us to this scene where we just were a second ago. And here we are back. So what you want to do then is to start creating these scenes for the planets. So basically starting from this scene, what you want to do, you go to the scene options, you tap add scene, and you give it a name. For me, the next one would probably be Mars, or let's just go to Jupiter, and like so, that creates a scene, and then you start adding assets, and then of course you need to sort of wire this scene in from the main scene, as I just did with Earth. So if we go to the main scene for now, just to let you guys know, the final video I'm gonna be making is about making this main scene come alive a bit more with the planet spinning and adding a little bit of polish to those scene transitions. So until then, I hope it all makes sense. I hope you're getting along. Yeah, so until next time, thanks and bye.